Hello and welcome to today's update on our Kickstarter for Runes, Ancient and Modern, and whatever other weird subtitles I'm going to give it throughout the coming weeks. So today we're going to be talking about one of the pieces of artwork that we've done for this insane project. As in all of these videos about the artwork, I've managed to lure the actual artist here from Denmark, Sarah, who has journeyed far to come and sit at this table with me and talk. Well, it's probably going to be a lot of nonsense about the amazing artwork and this amazing project that we've been building over the last 3 years. So let's get into today's card, which is a personal favorite of mine, one of many, because there's 24 pieces of artwork, 25, but this is one that I really, really enjoy. So we're going to be talking about the Thurs rune today. If I remember correctly, this was very early on in the process that we started this, and I originally had already done some conceptualizing for it with another artist and just by myself before I managed to get you on board. And so trying to bridge the gap between us and like where are we going and stuff like that. That was early stages. It's always tricky when artists have to work together. Luckily, I've had the chance to do it many times. But the result is this. So it didn't go bad, that's for bloody certain. But yeah, let me explain a little bit about the Thurs rune first, as I see it. So Thurs both symbolize Thor, but it also, the very sound of it, the idea of it, is thorn. It is also the word, the name used for a breed of trolls, the Thurs. It has a lot of implementations of chaos, of natural sharpness, of everything in the forest that will bite back when you try to do damage to the trees. Fangs of the wolves in the night, bracken, sharp stones, and the hardships you will experience when you travel through the actual wilds. And I wanted to try and capture that mixed with the breed of trolls, the Thurs, and the wild, deep magic that they represent and the rune represents. But how the hell did we end up here? I asked for a troll that was casting magic. I think that's about where we started. I'd done a sketch, which we'll show on the screen. Not a sketch, a weird graphic representation. That was my original direction for this whole thing. But we ended up I ended up hiring you to do the illustrations, with which I could do massively different things, because I don't know how to paint. As mentioned many times before, I actually don't know anything about this. So I asked for a troll.
I think, for starters, we could take focus on the original design. You did like all of the thorns going around and writhing around this one character. And so we were discussing whether it needed to be this Thor-like character or something else. So we started out with having a male character, who was like fighting against these thorns, but were very vigilant. So we played around with that, and then later on we thought that it was better that he had some characteristics that would make him more than human, I would say. So we did add like the teeth, I would say, like, what would you call that?
Massive teeth. Tusks.
Tusks, that's the one.
That's the one.
That's the one. And I really do like that because it really made him much more superhuman, which I love so much to do myself. I'm a little bit biased on that one.
Part of what I particularly like about this piece is how it ended up being clearly there's a struggle, but also a symbiosis. It looks like he's casting magic that involves these plants, as if he's weaving a wall of thorns that he might be about to use it against someone, but also as if he is, while casting this magic, he is in turmoil with it, like it's not willing to just do as he wants. This part, the Thurs element, has its own will and its own life force. It wants to do something, and it's not just going to let anyone dictate its decisions. And I don't even think that's like an intentional thing. Like, we didn't set that as a goal with this artwork, but it has ended up with this really cool dynamic of both conflict but also power between these two elements. Color-wise, I think so too. Like this whole, like the deep, dark, strong reds mixed with the yellowy and the teal and the greenish tones. They're very, very different, but they go really well together. I think it creates a really good power. I love how, well, on every single card, we've got the rune at the top, and this, like the light coming off this, the energy and the way that it kind of like flows down on his face. I think that's really cool.
Agreed.
I had a fun time designing his tattoos as well, creating something that had a very primitive feel to it, but actually would be something that I would make as a tattoo. And it's been great fun for me to make tons of these cards have, like where the characters are there, they have tattoo kind of designs to it, and handing those over to you and see where you take it is always really interesting. Like how you put it onto their skin with different graphic brushes and stuff like that. It's always very fascinating to see.
It's also fun
the
to
end
see
results.
our dynamic, because we had the dynamic of you being art director and me being the artist in the beginning, while it actually became more like artist meets artist who like bounce off each other. Like I would have an idea and then you would have an idea, then we would go in the middle, or with mostly your idea, and then suddenly I would bring something into play, and then you would go like, fuck, that's amazing, why didn't we do that in the beginning? And then
You've definitely managed to overrule quite a lot of my concepts by just bringing something better to the table. There's also been quite a few incidents where I've been completely blank. Like looking at an idea, be like, I don't know what I want. These are the keywords. What would you do? And you then presented me with options that worked so much better than anything that I've come up with. So it's definitely grown into a lot more of a symbiotic, creative relationship, this whole thing.
Yeah.
We'll get more into that in a different video. Do you have anything you want to add?
It's epic,
It's
obviously.
epic.
It's magical. I think it really represents like the, I can't remember the English name, urmennesket. Which
Primal man.
The primal man, but also the magic that resides within all of us, the strength that resides in all of us. I love that.
To me, the Thurs rune is one of the ones that has the most ancient feels, along with, for example, Urus. It does tie into when mankind had to survive in the deep wilds and overcome very, very different dangers. It represents when nature wants to bite back or even attack you first, which is also what the Thurs are, the trolls are. This magic, this deep strength. That about sums it up for this one, at least. Thank you for tuning in today. Join us tomorrow for the next card as we go through the ideas, concepts, and magic of that. Don't forget, place your pledge, decide how you're going to back this weird project, and yeah, keep following us for the journey. That's it. Fuck off.